also the Lord was crucified.
Firstborn, you can do whatever you like. You're the first grandson, you can be whoever you like. Yeah, freedom reigns as soon as I open my eyes. But now I'm shackled and chained, serving 18 to life. Oh, rules and regulations plague me. All this paid vacation wasted. Turns out I'll never escape it. Rules and regulations. Rules and regulations. Well, fuck this degree, I think I just might hit the road. I got way too much heart, mama, I got too much soul. They said you're getting pretty good, kid, we think you could earn gold. If you just follow these steps, then maybe we'll give you a show. Rules and regulations plague me. Rock and roll's been dead for ages. Turns out I'll never escape it. Rules and regulations, that's right. regulations plague me. Cancel all the celebrations. Turns out I won't be able to make it. Rules and regulations. Rules and regulations plague me. Rock and roll has been dead for ages. Turns out I'll never escape it. All rules and regulations.
You stick around that smiling red-eye photo. Yeah, stick and poke tattoo of some dots and arrows. Jet black pen ink, the needle from Walgreens. Yeah, the guts to break the skin. That shape of blood is a tin-type silhouette. The body's a flood tint, the polish of steel skin. The breath through the cut dime, and the wind through the sea now, and the rush is silver dust. And like a call through your airway, like a crew. I want the old ways back song. I want the hell fake and love. I'm sorry. I want the old ways back song. I want the cut to know the blood. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love that war, heavy rain on cars. Yeah, the overpass shields, I'll turn my flash shoes on. In the stream of the applause, the water on blacktop. Just shut up, I don't wanna think. And like a call through the air, like a crew. Know you're somewhere, always somewhere, always new. I want the old ways back song. I want the hell of fake and love. I'm sorry. I want the old ways back song. I want the cut to know the blood. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There is no driveway, saddest call I ever fielded at dawn. My mom asked me, are you alone? Josh is asleep on our friend Nick's floor. She told me, go wake him, son, now. Bright, it's so bright, so early in the day in Tucson. What is it, Mom? What is it, Mom? What is it? In the night, in the living room, he fell. And on the way to town, on a farm to market highway, his heart gave out.
Well, Jeremy,
Yeah.
thanks so much for, the hospitality over the past couple of days and, being here in Austin and agreeing to do this little interview for the show. How now?
Hey, Buffalo.
Hey, Buffalo. How are you? It's a beautiful couple of days, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the rain and the Texas rain. Something I've never really experienced before.
We don't get a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
You found the 1 week.
I brought the darkness.
Yeah.
So how long you've been here for?
5 years.
5 years.
5.5, something like
5
that.
years. How long did it take you to kind of get into the groove of being here and like as a working songwriter?
No, I still don't feel like I've really accomplished that or found my role
Really?
in this town. If anything, I attempted and I've now sort of backed away because I've seen what it is.
Yeah.
And that's not a shot at Austin's music scene at all. It's very functioning and working for them.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not loud enough and I don't want to be loud.
So do you find that like the craft is more or less about like exploring who you are or exploring the larger, like how you fit within the craft?
The more I play and the more I can get out of my own way to be more me,
Yeah.
the better I get.
Yeah.
Like, I think that song I played for you last night when I played at the show, the one we were thinking about Axe and just saying this is a bad song we're going to move on from. It might not be the best song, but I don't think anyone writes a song that sounds quite like that one.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's just sort of weird, and that was another great example of like kind of just did whatever the hell I wanted at that.
Yeah, and it's just interesting when you start to think about how you fit into like the community,
Sure.
and like how that impacts your craft,
Yeah.
right? Like talking about the guys who moved from California or whatever, and they move to Austin and they, develop a y'all and,
Yeah.
get along little doggy kind of thing,
Yeah.
And
And that's art too.
that's,
It's their. That's probably who they really want to be.
that's a part of their performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, musicians that are just pure actors, right? Like stadium rockers.
Yeah, for sure. And like the desire to be the best songwriter that you are,
Sure.
in the future.
Yeah.
How do you know that when it's in the present? Like how do you know when you really hit it?
Being a confident adult, which I'm probably laying at a 60% right now. Like getting better.
Yeah.
I feel the more I stay home, the more I stay inside, I get better at
Yeah.
that.
Do you think that the quarantine and the pandemic and stuff like that helped you discover that about yourself a little bit more?
At the risk of just being insensitive,
Yeah.
It was the best 2 years of my life just for me.
Yeah.
of introspect work on art,
Yeah.
confidence building,
Yeah.
and I also know what not to return to anymore, which is playing on 6th Street
Yeah.
to people who don't care.
Yeah.
And that was a shot to my my writing process at home. You know, I took it home with me.
That was like a good shot, or
No,
that,
it was all bad
that
being
was-
down there. You
yeah.
know, so the solitude just kind of repaired. all of
Oh,
that,
yeah.
It's right where you're saying earlier, like a community being in a sense supportive and reflective of your work. When you go to towns, I think it'd be very different for me in a town like Omaha
Sure.
and the type of work I write. And it's not a coincidence that 25% of the people within the genre I play in come from Omaha.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's reflective of the city.
Yeah.
The city's music scene's built around supporting exactly that. Why is there a 4-year period in Eau Claire, Wisconsin that made a dozen of the best songwriters today? You know, Justin Vernon,
Yeah.
Kalispell, S. Carey, Field Report,
Yeah.
Chris Porterfield.
Yeah.
Like, how does that make sense? 4 years.
Yeah. Because
weird.
the environment was right for it.
Yeah.
Listening rooms.
Yeah.
The importance of venues being aware enough of what they were doing outside of trying to just get dough,
Sure.
to being able to create a space that fosters
Yeah.
a life,
Sure.
a creative life, right?
And I grew up inside that. We had the Flint local in downtown Flint, and because we had the local, we had an absurd amount of punk bands in Flint growing up.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was only playing punk music
Yeah.
growing up, and then we eventually had internationally touring punk bands. I would say loosely punk, Chiodos,
Yeah.
and the Swellers.
Yeah.
Found a ton of success along with other types of music like Whitey Morgan. But I think it was only because we had that space.
Because
if you took that one space away, I don't think that any of these bands would have existed.
a lot of people move to Austin, right?
Yeah.
To find
Find that?
that, right?
And
And then it's just like, oh,
well, you move to Austin, it becomes cool. So they built the condos next to the apartments, and the condos have put noise restrictions around the venues.
Yeah, exactly.
So the venues are destroyed.
Yeah.
I feel like I could move somewhere that I felt that was better for what my art
Hmm.
is trying to do, but I've also been very happy just staying at home.
Yeah.
And we got the internet.
It's just so crazy that there's like a place like Austin that has like this incredibly deep history
Sure.
of all sorts of different types of music have
Yeah.
come out of here.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, and it has that like magnitude that draws people here.
Sure.
But how much of the creation of the work that a person is doing is like the internal work and like the true expression versus like the okay, Austin is the place where it's happening. I'm gonna move to Austin. I'm gonna I'm gonna do some sort of thing, and then I'm gonna fit in Austin. And if I fit in Austin, then I'm gonna fit in everywhere else.
If you want to be a performer, this is a great place.
Yeah.
Great place. And finding that like 100% true artist, and I'm not saying I'm that, but I have found songwriters, like watching Chase last night, like with Chase Weinacht of Marmalakes, like what do you think his intent is behind songwriting except to get better? And there's a reason why he's the best in town, it's because of that.
Yeah, and to just really, truly work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's the thing, right? Is like there's this desire to like level up, right? So you got to do it. You got to work. You got to be a part of the work. You know, you have to work every day, kind of thing. You know, sometimes that's going out and playing every show, cold calling every little spot along the way to try and get something to shake out, or it's sitting at home and tinkering on the piano, or like playing a new riff, or listening to ska music and to learn a new rhythm, right?
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how like there's these like periods of contraction and expansion, right? And I think that we're definitely moving into a massive expansion, like of creativity and people doing things because of the contraction of the quarantine and stuff.
Just an idea I've been coming up with in my head, and this idea of music being cyclical, is that the world goes through phases of willing to accept certain genres of music.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like we're in the period of like this return to Elliott Smith.
Oh, okay.
And I say that specifically, I mean, like Phoebe Bridgers was at the Grammys.
Yeah.
Who was the last soft boy to be at the Grammys, Justin Vernon and Elliott Smith.
Yeah.
That kind of quiet room, introspective music, I think has returned. So there might be room for us for the next couple of years.
How now?
How now?
How now?
How now?